Nintendo, stop it! You know, game companies are great at certain things. Microsoft's great at second place, Sony's great at censorship, and Nintendo's great at ruining good things, okay? I'm sorry if I can get a little heated right now. If you don't know what happened, Daddy he was trying to get some Super Mario 64 PC, fan game stuff going on. You know, I love fan games. I love fan mods. Being a PC gamer, one of the strongest things is seeing the community build stuff. And a lot of it, yes, can be fan games and recreations of stuff that exists right now. Nintendo has made some of the greatest games ever. Games so great that the community has decided if Nintendo isn't making the games, they're gonna make games for them. And over time, they have come up with great Pokemon games, great Metroid games, and now they've straight up remade Super Mario 64, the first 3D Mario game, on the PC using the Unreal Engine in a way where we can get better frame rates, better resolutions, better textures, maybe even some rudimentary ray tracing. But you know what Nintendo did? Gone! Deleted, copyrighted. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't stand Nintendo. And this is one of the companies that has some of the worst stands in the industry, okay? Some of the worst simps imaginable. Because no matter what Nintendo could do the worst unimaginable act, and there are still people that would just say, well, you know, in Nintendo's defense, now Nintendo decided, you know, hey, listen, this guy made he made, what is it? The unauthorized derivative work based on our copyright and decided, you know what, let's just remove it. And this is where it becomes one of those situations where it just leaves me heated. Nintendo does a lot of things right, but for every right thing Nintendo does, they do something equally as stupid, whether that's from console design to just going after the community and hounding on them like the way that they do now. Before I continue, let me tell you right now, Nintendo has the complete right to do what they do. Okay, I'm not going to argue and say, oh, well, you can fight Nintendo on this. No, you can't. Nintendo wins. It's their intellectual property, and it's up to them to do whatever they want. And that's where my defense stops. Because Nintendo straight up shouldn't have even done this in the first place. Now, before we continue, it's understandable that Super Mario 64 is an old game. Bros, I was still walking around in diapers when this game was a thing, okay? When this game came out, I was pooping in a diaper as a baby, as a young child, okay? All right, I was a young boy when this game was out. Why I'm bringing that up is in 2020, as far as I know, Nintendo does not sell Super Mario 64. Maybe if I dug out, oh boys, the Wii U Virtual Console for all the 6 people that bought it, connected it online, maybe it's still online enough for me to buy the game. But Nintendo, as far as I know, doesn't actually sell it. You can't get Mario 64. The only way you're buying the cartridge for Mario 64 is if you're paying some reseller on eBay an astronomical sum to get this game again. You know, Nintendo has pissed me off with their removal of emulator website or removal of ROMs because when they're not selling these games, they completely get rid of game preservation in the process. Why? I don't know. I'd be okay with them removing all of this had they provided another avenue to buy Super Mario 64, which right now on their current consoles, you can't do. I can't load up the Nintendo Switch and play Super Mario 64. I can't fire up my 3DS and buy Super Mario 64. But somehow Nintendo feels that, well, somebody remade the game for PC without charging a dime, by the way. This game wasn't sold. Completely free. You know, nothing. People were paying for the server hosted space, for crying out loud, if I'm not mistaken. And Nintendo still decides we should get rid of it. Ladies and gentlemen, this comes into just another thing Nintendo does. This is something that I was fearful of when this was released, and I wish I had downloaded it earlier. Because I know what Nintendo is like. Nintendo is not new to any of this. Nintendo, and like many other Japanese companies, will always target constant stuff like this. You know, another example I'm going to bring up is Square Enix. Look, I like Square Enix, I have a good relationship with them, but from time to time they do some boneheaded maneuvers, like back in the day, Chrono Resurrection was a fan game that was being made. It's sort of a remake to Chrono Trigger, you know, a game that Square Enix isn't going to remember, but everyone in the JRPG community fondly remembers. They decided to completely cease and desist it and never use the Chrono Trigger franchise at all. So you're going to cease and desist fan games that aren't there to charge money from the users. In fact, are there because you have a passionate community of people who love your franchise so much, they're willing to take hours out of their day to program, develop video games. Re-releases. And you're not going to do anything with them. You know, it'd be one thing had they gotten rid of a fan game and remade it later themselves, but they're not doing it. You know, unless this is some ploy for Nintendo to re-release this game or re-release a Nintendo 64 catalog on Switch, maybe I could understand. But we're getting to a point where a lot of these cease and desists are just a joke. You know, Nintendo, you need to calm down with your cease and desist. This doesn't make any sense. This doesn't work out. And granted, you're in the right, but honestly, as a gaming company, I gotta say, ethically, here, you're in the wrong. This constant hounding of your community when better resources could have been spent developing video games, pushing more, better resources could have been spent instead of targeting people who are doing something as harmless as recoding a game. One of your best games for the PC community. With no charge at all, by the way. I'm just going to put that out there. Again, this is one of those companies that's always going to get, you know, their stands. They're always going to have people defending them. But it's getting to a point where the more and more they pull shit like this off, the harder it is for anyone to defend them. Honestly, make a case in the comment section below. What defense does Nintendo honestly have to take down a game, a remake, a fan remake, a fan port of a game released decades ago? Let me know in the comment section below. This is me, Mutahar, and honestly, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.